Good evening, and welcome to Fine Point, where no narrative is sacred, no media hoax is safe, and we zero in on the big picture. I'm Christian Hartsock, filling in for Chanel Rion. Well, not much has happened this week, so there's not really anything to talk about. I'm kidding, of course. Elon Musk's apocalyptic clash with President Trump, sparked by Musk's public condemnation of Trump's big, beautiful bill, followed by a call for his impeachment and a cryptic Epstein reference, has sent Tesla stock tumbling and a fractured GOP ranks. Trump retaliated by threatening to revoke Musk's federal contracts. While the rift is causing understandable family trauma within the MAGA movement, some observers suspect it may be shrewd stagecraft. Now, I'm very excited about our first guest, who has a unique take on this. Joining us now is veteran tech journalist and co-host of No Agenda, the best podcast in the universe, hailing from northern Silicon Valley, my friend on the other end, the one, the only Mr. John C. Dvorak. In the morning, John.
Hi, how you doing?
Excellent. Now, I listened to your show yesterday, as I do every Thursday and Sunday, and you have an interesting take on this. So tell us what you make of this very explosive public divorce. Is it our fault? Do they not love us anymore? What's been going on?
Well, Adam Curry and I both came up with the same conclusion, which is that this is I wouldn't call it a hoax, but I'd say it's scripted. And for good reason. There's a number of factors here that need to be addressed. It looks as if this whole thing may be for all practical purposes, a scam. And, no one else is addressing the possibility, despite the fact these two guys really liked each other and they still do it possibly. But this divorce had to happen. And let me go through some of the reasons why. First of all, this was a good way to shake out the Republicans who are on the fence about the big, beautiful bill. And a couple of them already took the bait, Marjorie Taylor Greene, unfortunately, being one of them. But more importantly than that, is the other factors here that need to be looked at. When, for example, Musk and Trump's on the Epstein files. Why would he do that? Possibly because the Epstein files haven't been released and Trump hasn't been able to get Pam Bondi to release them. And he can't make a big fuss about it because everybody knows that, oh God, he's interfering with the Justice Department and this and that, and he's trying to turn it into a weapon. So what he does is have Musk bring this up because Trump's not in the Epstein files. Everybody knows it. Epstein and Trump weren't pals really. They knew each other occasionally because they're both in New York. And this puts a bunch of pressure on Pam Bondi to release the files, which she may not have wanted to do. And maybe the entire FBI is still a blackmailing operation for all we know. And there may be some juicy stuff in there that they don't really want to let out because it's too valuable. So now the Democrats are even piling on and demanding that Pam Bondi release the Epstein files. This in itself is genius.
Yeah, so I've been rewatching old seasons of The Apprentice, and in every season they play up the feuds, whether it's between Omarosa and Piers Morgan or Melissa Rivers and Annie Duke. This could be the same master stagecraft and intrigue at play.
It looks just like a reality show. You're right. And but there's other factors. Let's mention them. There was something about taking away funding from Musk, and Musk made a fuss about, well, I'm going to discontinue the Dragon project. I'm going to take my rocket and go home. There's a possibility that the big giant rocket that Elon's been trying to launch that has what do they call it? This rapid disassembly, which means it blew up in the sky. That it doesn't work. It may have some serious flaws that don't work, and he needs an exit strategy from that plan. And maybe we don't want to go back to the moon. Maybe we don't really want to go to Mars, or we can't afford it. So that's kind of an out for him. There's also the one other aspect, and I kind of predicted that, or I'm going to predict now, that Musk may go back to the Democrat Party. They're welcoming him in. Katie Tur on his show yesterday, she had somebody on, and oh yeah, we'll bring Musk back in, even though he's Hitler and does a Nazi salute, but we'll bring him back into the party. They need to get Musk over there because he's actually counterproductive in his in his donations. That loss of that Wisconsin Supreme Court judge shows that he may have a negative effect, and they need to get Musk over into the Democrats so he can be a mole, so they can stop the possibility, because Republicans don't vote in midterms ever. They just don't. And especially if they got a president in office, they need some way to get the vote out. And by threatening impeachment, which has already been brought up, and even Musk brought it up for out of the blue, why? This impeachment thing, they have to stave off the Democrats from taking over the House in the midterms in 2026, because the first thing they're going to do is impeach Trump, and it's going to screw up everything. So they have to get this is a scheme, and it's a good one.
So let's say this is theater. Is it more serving Musk's interests or Trump's, or is it mutually symmetrical?
I think it's both, because even though the price of Tesla's gone down, they've got to get the liberals back buying these electric cars. So they have to get some sympathy for Musk, because I mean, it's the liberals. Let's face it, it's the liberals who are into global warming that are buying the Teslas and the electric cars, and they need to get off this burning the cars and shooting at the Tesla stores and all the rest of it. And they got to, and this has not been a good event. This whole thing, this Doge uh, product, has not been good for Musk's image. He needs to pull back, and this, I think, is going to benefit both of them a lot. If you notice that just yesterday they announced that the guy that was formerly known as Big Balls is now a full-time employee of the U.S. government, heading up Doge. And that's kind of suspicious if you think that there's a real feud going on.
Yeah, so you touch on this a little bit. In the context of the recent stock volatility and voter alignment shifts, what would the practical ultimate payoff be for faking such a public rupture?
Well,
Ultimately.
the ultimate payoff is that the Republicans do well in the midterms, which would be unusual, but they have to. It's very important. Musk gets his reputation back, and he serves a dual purpose of being a kind of a foil. But I'll tell you, if you'll see Musk at some point, hope probably after the midterms, in Mar-a-Lago again, hanging out with Trump. That's what it is. And as Trump has his gets his feud. He's not changing his reputation at all with this feud, because that's what he looks like he does. Everyone hates him, which is not true. But this is the benefit. I think largely this is a favor to Musk, to be honest about, to benefit him and get him off the hook for certain things.
Now, John, I heard from a reliable source that you have a theory about presidents going up to 2036.
Yeah, I do. Well, it's obvious. I've been watching the two guys who are going to be running. I think DeSantis, by the way, is out of it. It's too bad, but it's Marco Rubio who has been. If you haven't watched him, he has been taking on the attributes of Trump. He's mean. He's forthright. He's kind of nasty. He's says things that he means. He doesn't fool around. And Vance, J.D. Vance, who is kind of a nice guy, but he's sharp. But he's sharp with a smile. They have to take, since they brought Vance in as VP, they have to, just the way politics works, Vance gets the first shot at being president. So the best scenario is Vance runs in 2028, and he brings Rubio in as the vice president. That way he can transfer the power, and the ages are perfect for this, by the way. I think Vance is 41 or so. Rubio was born in 71. So he's just the right age to be a president in 2036. So Rubio is going to be vice president for 2 terms, and then they pass it on to him. This is ideal, of course. Things don't work out if there's a depression or too many recessions. And then Rubio, who'll be in this mid 60s, can bring in, because somebody's got to bring in a woman as vice president eventually, and it's going to have to be the Republicans, because the Democrats can't pull it off. They've tried 3 times now. They had the Ferraro woman trying to run for vice president once with Mondale, I believe, and then they've had these Hillary, these terrible candidates. So the Republicans will bring somebody in. I think they'll bring in Kristi Noem, who's exactly the same age, basically, as Rubio. And she is doing her best at keeping a high profile. And the only wild card in this is the Democrats. And who are they going to bring up? There's nobody. They can't bring in Newsom because he's screwed up California so much. He's a liability right now. So I believe Newsom will actually run for senator. A lot of people, if you think about it, if you ask any California who are the two U.S. senators that we have, you have maybe they remember Schiff because he just won the election, but nobody remembers the other guy. Who is the other senator from California? He's the most low-profile senator we've ever had. When you had Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein, they were just all over the news. They were everywhere. This other guy, Alex Padilla, is due for re-election in 2028. It's time to bump him, put Newsom in as a U.S. Senator from California in 2028. He can go to the Washington and work out get the stench of what he did to California off of him. And by 2036, he can run.
Dvorak.com/NA, and the No Agenda podcast with John C. Dvorak and Adam Curry is every Thursday and Sunday. John, thank you for your courage.
Dvorak.org. Thanks for that.
Dvorak.org.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Thank you. And coming up, Dr. Simone Gold shares her story of post-COVID, post-J6 persecution.